Hello, my name is Roman Dzindzichashvili, and this is member game analysis. The game I want to show you played between two players with a huge rating difference. It was played live in Sweden by our one of our guests and his opponent. Our guest was with white. His handle is Henka59, and his rating is 1420 or some 1430. And his live opponent is 2120. That's a huge difference. This is over 600-point difference and almost 700-point difference. And it's unbelievable that you can see such a huge difference. This game goes so close. The game was so close because probably player with white wasn't played in a tournament for a long time or whatever, or he was not rated. But nevertheless, let's go to the game. D4, D5, C4, E6, Knight C3, Knight F6, Knight F3, Bishop E7, Bishop G5, Castle, E3, Knight D7, Bishop D3. I don't think this is all important to say. Bishop D3, this is all important to analyze. A6 is a good move. And the idea is to take on C4. Now, if white castles, black is going to take on C4, go B5, and C5. Bishop B7 or C5. Now, we know that. But however, white played A4. Now, this move is very suspicious nature. Suspicious because black can play simply DC, bishop takes C4 and C5. And that weakness on B4 is not really do anything for white. Black wants to take on D4 and go B6. That's what the way it should have played. However, black played after bishop D3, A4, black played rook E8, castle, C6. Now this position, I should say, that is very, very difficult for black. Black has no counterplay. Black has nothing to play a board. At this position, after queen c2, h6, all of a sudden, white took on f6. Why? Why to take on f6? It's a big mistake. Let me tell you why. It's a big mistake because now black's pieces come out alive. Black has very little space for the pieces. By playing h6 and taking on f6, white gives them option to play e5, dc, bishop takes c4. e5, rook f1, knight b6. Now, why knight b6? This is series of bizarre moves. Knight b6 is totally uncalled for. Now, good move would have been b3 or even c5. However, white took on d5. That's a good move. Also, ed, and now b3. Now, in conjunction with b3, cd was a terrible move. cd, ed, e4 has to be played. And the only way can justify cd. Now, white played cd, and after ed, played b3. Now, this is totally bishop g4. And after bishop g4, bishop e2, queen d7, it's clear that black is doing well. a5, another terrible move. It gives away all squares. Knight c8 and knight d2. And now black should have just played knight d6. Leave the bishop on g4. However, bishop f5 was played, bishop d3, bishop takes, queen takes, and knight d6. Now let's evaluate this position. Black has total control on e-file, especially when d4 pawn is weak. Now doubling rooks, going g6 and h5, taking every square away from white. Position is strategically lost for white. But white didn't know about it. They wouldn't have gone for this position. Rook ad1, rook ad8, beginning of a wrong plan. Right plan is rook e7 and rook e8, and then g6. Rook ad8, knight a4, queen g4. Queen coming in the game is a very wrong idea. Queen goes to h5. It doesn't give black an attack. However, knight e4 was right move. And on knight c5 just to take it. Or even rook e7 and rook e8. Queen g4, knight c3, queen h5, knight f3. Rook d7. Game is not developing fast. Black put queen on h5. For what reason, we don't know. The player that played it, he didn't know. And this is bizarre game. Now, after rook d7, knight e2, rook d7, knight f4, queen g4, h3, queen d7. You see, that's what I said originally. Rook has to be doubled on e-file, and g6 and h5 had to be played. Now knight h5, and game completely changed. At this position, black must play bishop g5, not bishop g5. But black didn't do it. After bishop g5, black has serious advantage. But king h8 was played apparently because black was intending to mate white. Knight takes f6, gf, and white continues to make pointless moves. Knight h2, rook g8, king h1, knight e4, rook f1, queen f5. All of a sudden now is a problem. After queen f5, knight f3, and here black could have gone rook e8, and position is absolutely hopeless for white. They have no defense to rook g6, rook g8. White wasted tons of moves. Knight h2, knight f3, king h1. Absolutely clueless. Okay, at this position, after rook e8, queen e2, queen g6, this is overwhelming threats on g3. Even queen takes g3 here goes. It's very devastating. However, queen g6 was played. Knight h4, queen g5. Now g3 move is asking for it. Knight takes g3, fg, queen takes g3, and queen f5. White is still lost. Queen takes h4, queen f6, rook f6, king h7. It's a terrible move. There is a simple move, rook g3. There is one pawn on h6 that is hanging. There are 3 pawns on a third rank that is absolutely terrible place. After that, it would have been very, very easy. However, this wasn't played. King h7. No, I have to mention that after rook g3 and king h2, rook takes e3, and here, well, black can take every pawn of whites on b3. So it wasn't played. King h7. Now it starts rook f1, rook g7, rook f3, and now black decided to give a pawn. Because they couldn't find any better move, and there is no better move. And after rook g6, it's a dead drawish position. Dead drawish position, however, it didn't end in a draw. Rook takes g7, king g2, king f6, king f3, or king g3. Basically, this position is always a draw, but what happened here, after king takes g7, king g2, king f6, king g3, king f5, h5, king f5, king f3, and here any move is drawing. King g5, king g6. However, he played h5. And after h5, black is completely lost. It's amazing. h4, and you see black has no pawn moves. They have to move the king back. King goes back here, and now white has second waiting move. And black has to retreat with the king or give to penetrate white's king to g5. King g6, king g5. And position absolutely lost. This is amazing. After king f6, b4, position is lost. So here is the losing move. h5. It's absolutely horrible. Meanwhile, king g5 was an easy draw. King g3, king g5. And on king h4 is bad because of king e4. And king has to go to f3. But h5 was unbelievable. h4. And that's it. Black doesn't have that square, and that's it. Now, but on king f3, king f6 would have been a draw. King g6 would have been a draw. It's absolutely no draw. But h5 did it. h4, king e6, king f4, king f6, and b4. All of a sudden, black cannot move. They have to move king, and after this, is lost. Now it's no need to analyze this game. And h pawn moves. And black has to give all the pawns on b file. This is amazing oversight by black. Actually, games should have been played a lot better by black, and white is played way above his ability. He was 14-20 player, and he played a lot better than 14-20. But for black, we expected a better play. So this is all I can say about this game. Very poorly conducted by black. Thank you very much, and I will see you soon.